So recently I made this video about how Bitcoin has more utility than XRP, and as expected, some people don't like it. One commenter specifically, OG Perp here, and I went back and forth, politely. So while OG Perp gets some things correctly, like how XRPL is faster than the Bitcoin network, he's ultimately conflating a few things when we're talking about utility for cryptocurrency. And I use the comment here so that you can click on this conversation because my responses are objective and for educational purposes. So in this post, I'm not talking about the hypothetical who could have more utility if this works and that. I'm talking about today, Bitcoin has more utility than XRP. And here's why I think people get these things mixed up a little bit. When we're talking about utility in cryptocurrency, there are three different types at a high level. You have the chain capability, so that cryptocurrency might have an entire blockchain like Bitcoin and XRP do, in which case we're talking about utility in terms of the network and what its capabilities are. So again, this was all about the network. Then we also have the coin itself. And then we have the type of utility that Ripple was talking about in that post and the type that I'm talking about, which leads to even more utility than just these, because these ones are kind of inherent. If you're a blockchain, you're likely going to have these utilities. These ones, though, you have to actually build up. You need to be used by more blockchains, used by more protocols, right? So that's a different type of utility. And what I'm saying is when we talk about all of these, Bitcoin has more utility. And this video is getting kind of long, so I'm just going to wrap it up after this. Here's an example of how Bitcoin has more utility and why XRP wants to do this expansion. Because if you go over here, this is the biggest DEX on base chain, and we type in BTC, we have a bunch of different types of Bitcoin that are available. This is all different utility for Bitcoin. These are different projects that are building on top of Bitcoin, using Bitcoin in different ways. That's utility. Now, when we do the same thing for XRP, you don't have nearly as much. We have two different types. This one doesn't have very much liquidity. This one is an official one from Coinbase, but there's only two options. And then wrapped XRP is going to bring another option into the equation. RLUSD is going to bring another option for that ecosystem into the equation. That's more utility for the ecosystem, more utility for XRP. But today, when we're comparing them, they still need to catch up. They need to catch up. This is just one blockchain, but if we go to a different blockchain, it's going to look the same. There's going to be more options for Bitcoin usage than for XRP usage. Bitcoin is winning today. And again, I'm using Ripple's own definition. This is from their own Twitter post. This is how they see it. This is what they consider utility.